Residents here on Patterson Avenue are counting their blessings this morning. At one point, we saw 3 ladders extended to fight this fire. We are here at Big Eddie's Ice House on Southern Boulevard, where this freezer is set to minus 20 degrees to keep these bags of ice cold. Why am I standing here? Because that Coors Light billboard has a major problem with it. I'm News 12 The Bronx's JT Fetch. If you haven't noticed yet, I'll tell you what it is coming up. Victims' families continue to mourn today. This as questions are surrounding the man who was at the controls of that deadly train. The sun is shining and Bronxites are getting over the work week hump on 2 wheels instead of 4 today. Obviously, police really want to catch him. Right. You call the number on your screen. It's 1-800-577-TIPS if you can help at all. Yeah, John, we've been looking at data from the Department of Transportation, and it shows that over a 5-year period along this area in East Tremont Avenue, there have been nearly 60 pedestrian injuries. The person we spoke with on the phone actually said they were unaware of any accident happening. The group hopes to have at least 1 no catcalling sign in every borough by the end of this week. Catcallers, you've been warned. When News 12 The Bronx got involved, the city told us they would come out here and fix the broken fire hydrant here behind me. Sure enough, when we arrived around 8 a.m., just a few minutes later, a crew got here in a truck and they got to work. Well, Jess, police have actually confirmed to us just a few minutes ago that the person who was shot here this morning has died from their injuries. I'll step out of the way and my photographer is going to show you this scene here. What we will not show you is the significant amount of blood that is sitting on the sidewalk here in front of this deli. Now, police say this happened around 8:40, just as the morning rush was in full gear. We spoke with an eyewitness to the whole thing off camera. He said he saw the gunman fire once right in the back of the head. The victim fell. Then the gunman fired again, one more time in the head. The witness says the gunman then ran across the street here to a waiting white van, which then sped off. I spoke to someone who lives nearby.
It frightens me because you never know what's going to happen. We need to get more manpower out here, have more officers walking the beat.
Is because there are so many stores here, there are surveillance cameras all over the place. The deli I'm standing next to actually has a camera that's pointed directly at this crime scene. So we talked to the employee inside. They did not want to show us the surveillance video from their camera. They did, however, show it to the police officers. No doubt they'll be using that to identify the suspect who is still at large.
It's crazy. Early in the morning, we wake up to this.
With residents here on Findlay Avenue trying to go to work and school buses trying to pick up kids, it soon became clear things would be a little different.
My family was down here. I'm scared to go see my mama,
who Delaney says lives here at 1041 Findlay. When we arrived on scene, we saw police in tactical gear climb on top of the building's scaffolding, focusing on a 4th-floor apartment. Police say they were trying to track down a man armed with a knife who barricaded himself inside.
I came home and all of a sudden you saw the squad cars.
Police blocked off this section here behind me for more than an hour, bringing the Thursday morning routines for Bronxites who live on this usually quiet street to a screeching halt. In addition to police tape, cops also inflated a special cushion just in case whoever they were tracking down tried to jump out a window, all while police above used a special camera to try and see inside the apartment.
That's not a good feeling, being held up.
Then it was all over. The cushion deflated, then EMS crews moved in under police guard. Here you see a man put into restraints on a stretcher before being moved into a waiting ambulance. Police say the 26-year-old man was taken into custody without incident, but it was a hectic situation residents here will be talking about for quite some time.
That's not a good way to wake up in the morning.
In Melrose, JT Fetch, News 12, The Bronx. Investigators and fire damage specialists still on the scene here outside the Belmont Gourmet Deli as residents are thankful and shaken. They say this fire could have been a lot worse. The fire was quickly put under control by FDNY crews at 6:15 this morning, but the damage has been done. Broken glass, charred furnishings, and electrical wires torn from the ceiling, all the result of the flames. Our camera's rolling as a man who we believe is the owner surveys the inside. The building houses 2 floors of apartments above. Tenant Carmen Pena describes the tense moments as she evacuated her family.
We came back inside to get our children out of the apartment. We looked in the living room and the socket was smoking coming from the deli. We have the big guy watching over us here next door. Very, very lucky.
Well, Carmen says she and the other tenants here are hoping to get back inside as soon as possible. They're just waiting for the okay from the landlord. In the meantime, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. In Belmont, JT Fetch, News 12, the Bronx.
He keeps on going. He keeps on going.
Leaving Nestor Encarnacion laying in the middle of Davidson Avenue. Yesterday, the longtime Fordham resident said he was walking to his car around 10:30 in the morning to go to work when suddenly he was struck.
I'm halfway through the middle of the street and this red Toyota comes, takes the corner exceedingly fast. I wind up flying over the hood of his car.
Luckily, Jose Ramirez was on his way to work too at this bodega right in front of where the crash happened. He put his skills learned as a summer lifeguard into action.
I was the one that called the ambulance. I called 911. It was crazy though. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Luckily, the doctors who treated Nestor at St. Barnabas said he didn't suffer any fractures in the accident. He is complaining of some bad back pain though, and he's afraid that'll affect his career.
I'm a real estate agent in New York City. I have to walk around, preview a lot of apartments up and down stairs.
Nestor says he just hopes to recover quick so he can go back to providing for his family. He also has a good idea of who was driving the car who hit him and says it's someone from the neighborhood. He just wants him to do the right thing.
If you have an accident, please stop and make sure the person's okay.
We're just going to go to the prison and just go all fours to prevent this from happening to someone else.
The NYPD would only confirm there's a formal complaint on file for leaving the scene of an accident with personal injury, and they're currently investigating. In Fordham, JT Fetch, News 12, the Bronx. This is one Lexus that now sits in mangled chunks on Jerome Avenue. Police say this happened right around 2:20 this morning, and debris is still scattered all over the road. In fact, the Department of Sanitation is now being enlisted to help with the cleanup. Investigators have the street closed from East 196th Street down to Morris Avenue. Police say the car, driven by an unidentified male, hit one of the pillars supporting the train tracks above. It's unknown exactly how fast the car was going, but as you can see, it was split clean in half. One woman who lives near here told me what it was like when this terrible crash happened.
I saw fire and I started taking pictures of it, but it was crazy. You see the leg of the guy. They basically woke all of us up.
This year, we actually begin here in front of a store. Because for 2015, we had this idea. If you walked in there, bought a lottery ticket, and won that amount of money, what kind of car would you buy?
A new car?
Yes, a new car. While you think about it, consider browsing this year's New York International Auto Show. Right now, it's the epicenter of the world's automotive industry.
There's something inside the show for just about everybody that's out there.
So practicality is covered, but what about our post-lotto splurge? Show President Mark Scheinberg put my mind at ease.
If you have some serious cash, this is a place to look around and see what you want to buy.
Not only are the latest versions of existing models on display, there are several world premieres taking place as well. So have you got that car narrowed down yet?
A Mercedes.
A good choice, considering the German brand has one of the larger displays this year. And that's not the taxi of tomorrow. It's the new high-performance AMG GTS, starting right around $130,000.
That's my dream car, so I got to stick with my dream car.
If you're interested in something British, Jaguar unveiled its redesigned XF sedan.
We've got a very, very modern, sleek design language. And I think customers that buy Jaguars or drive or are passengers in Jaguars really show that they have very good taste.
But for some, the good old US of A is the way to go, no matter what the price point.
I'll keep it simple, a Caddy, CTS.
And it just so happens the latest CTS is on the floor this year, dressed in the pumped-up guise of Cadillac's racing-inspired V-Range. Caddy says it is luxurious, but they don't want you to think it's slow.
640 horsepower. It is the first Cadillac to go 200 miles an hour.
You can practically touch the speeding tickets already. Another dream car from the USA out in force at the show is an icon.
How about I had to choose a Mustang?
And fresh off a redesign, the pony car is galloping into the future without losing the retro appeal.
A real car that real people can afford and get that performance in their lives every day. Get the fun of their life every day.
So if you know exactly what you'd spend those mega millions on, or if you haven't made up your mind yet, The Javits Center really is now the perfect place to go live out those fantasies or find that sensible set of wheels that won't break the bank. The show is open to the public through April 12th. I'm JT Fetch reporting for News 12.
You know, it's become a dumpster.
Susan Amarito has been living in this building along the Hutch for more than 20 years, but she says over the past 2, there's been something different about the street outside.
You walk out here in the morning, you go to your car, you can't get in on the driver's side, you have to go climb over from the passenger side. Or if you're on your terrace, like, you know, we're here, we're out on our terraces, and this is what you have to look at.
Walking along near the intersection of Wilkinson Avenue, we found run-of-the-mill papers and bottles, but we also found bags filled with what looked like construction waste, and not one, but 2 television sets.
It's really aggravating, and hopefully the city will do something about it.
When you call, you know, they'll definitely say, well, someone's looking into it. But that's for, you know, they tell you maybe 10 days or so.
The city actually has an illegal dumping reward program. You can get up to half of the fine someone is given for the illegal dumping charge. The only problem is you have to witness it taking place, which, depending upon the time, could be tough.
It's probably done the middle of the night, you know, so that no one sees.
It's clear whoever's dumped this trash pays no mind to the signs touting a fine of $12.5 grand. What's also clear is what Leah Petriti's son thinks of what's been going on.
It's disgusting.
Along the Hutchinson River Parkway in Pelham Bay, JT Fetch, News 12, the Bronx.